Welcome everyone to another next webinar. Today we have a very interesting theme related to Datorama and data analytics for pharma companies. We all know that COVID generated a huge amount of data, and now the question is how to use that data in a proper way. So I believe you will receive an answer on that question today. And let me introduce three extraordinary speakers. Let's start first with the ladies, which is Carlota Zurita, the Senior Product Manager from Pierre Fabre. Hi, Carlota. How's in Barcelona?
Hello. Very nice, thank you.
Then we have Joaquin Pais, the CEO from ShowerThinking. Joaquin, same question for you, but how's in Madrid?
Well, that's great. Thank you, Dario.
And last but not least, of course, to overseas, we have Saman in beautiful Toronto, Canada, the Chief Operating Officer from ShowerThinking. Saman, hope everything is going well.
Oh, thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Everything is great.
So let's kick off the stage, and Joaquin presented a very interesting presentation. So Joaquin, please, the stage is yours.
Joaquin. All right, very good. Should I get it started?
Yes, please. Oh, sorry, I have a problem with my screen.
Don't worry, I'll just.
Seconds. Okay, here you are.
Okay, if you make me present.
You can start, please, Saman.
Okay, sure. Hi, everyone. Again, thank you so much for joining another webinar of our webinars in pharma. We'll just get to quickly to give you a quick intro if you're new to these webinar series about ShowerThinking. ShowerThinking is a marketing and technology agency. We are specializing in particularly cloud marketing activities for pharma industry. Particularly, we are specializing in combining technology and also the architecture solutions from Salesforce, based on Salesforce Marketing Cloud and Viva. We've been awarded as top 10 Salesforce solutions in Europe, and needless to say that we are launching more than 50 campaigns per month over 20 countries on that. So with that brief intro, if you go to the next slide, Joaquin. Just a quick disclaimer that we're going to be making references to obviously third-party products and common platforms that are used in the pharma industry and also in our architecture platforms. So all trademarks will belong to their own respective owners. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm just going to talk quickly about the problem statement about the business analytics versus marketing analytics. Actually, what are the differences between these two? What are the focus areas, and what we have to, what tools we have at our disposal to optimize these two concepts? And as always, we have invited Ms. Carlota Zurita, our Senior Product Manager from Pierre Fabre, would give us the insight on the industry perspective, the pharma industry perspective, for real-life examples that have been implemented and the best practices that have been implemented for them on that, to give the industry perspective on that front. With that in mind, I'll just pass it to Joaquin. Joaquin, please take it away. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Saman, and thank you everyone for attending this webinar. So let's first start from the ground and analyze which are the specific requirements to analyze multi-channel journeys in pharma and the differences between business analytics versus marketing analytics. Well, there is a new challenge for marketing professionals in pharma. With a new breed of marketing automation platforms, there is a constant request for understanding the multi-channel experience. This multi-channel experience could be about HCPs, healthcare professionals, could be patients or pharmacists, whatever the main focus of your company is targeting. Of course, there are business analytics platforms that this is the other topic or the other kind of platforms that we are going to stick today. And these business analytics platforms already exist in your company. You are probably using Excel files or Microsoft BI, Tableau, and there are many others really. But they lack an appropriate interaction with digital channels, as we will see in a moment. So let's first review which is really the challenge. What kind of analytics we need in a multi-channel journey? In this example that you can see in your screen, you can see that in a specific customer, the name is HCP, Healthcare Professional A, follows a different path with different channels than that another HCP B. The analysis of temporal events through a journey is a major challenge for business analytics tools. And this is the reason for the growth of these new marketing analytics platforms. The first challenge is that the marketing analytics use diverse channels, both online and offline. You can see, for example, in the part of the HQ driven, that you need to analyze emails, website, events, webinar platforms, webinars, really all a new breed of MarTech technology needs to be integrated in your analytics. It integrates, as said before, many different and diverse marketing sources. The main analytics focus is on the behavior of the customer through this journey, which is very difficult to get with a business analytics tool. Also, its journey has its own goals and its own milestones. It provides both marketing and commercial insights. And it's also consumed or is used by different kind of users. Usually this kind of dashboard and analytics tools, they are used by marketing users. And most important, the journeys that this is the topic that we are trying to understand and have better insights, have a short lifespan, but they are very intensive in insight. Usually when you launch a journey, you need to have very quickly, even in real time, which are the results, but it usually takes a short period of time, could be days, could be months, but usually it's a short period. So in summary, let's review the differences between marketing analytics tools versus business analytics. They usually are, as said before, the long lifespan of data that you usually have in business analytics tools versus marketing analytics tools. You are working with a short lifespan data. From few digital sources versus a new universe for multiple MarTech data. The business analytics usually work with a data lake model, which uses a single data model or simple data model when all these different marketing tools are using multiple or different data models. From an IT or analytics ownership, the dashboard and the consumption of these analytics is made by marketing teams. And from usually the CRM is the single source of truth versus the marketing single source of truth, which could be different platforms. And how are the companies solving this challenge? So let's first focus on the case of Salesforce itself. They have their analytics platform. They also have Instant Analytics, which is a business analytics tool. They have also both Tableau, which is one of the main providers for business analytics in the market. But still, there is a platform called Datorama, which is the marketing intelligence tool in this solution. The reason because is needed this kind of platform for marketing intelligence is because Datorama connects several market data sources with built-in connectors. It provides a dashboard and reporting, insights, and analytics using artificial intelligence. It also provides goals, alerts, and activation. You can see that this is a perfect tool for the analysis and activation for multi-channel journeys. And later in this presentation, Carlota will explain how it's implemented in Pierre Fabre marketing department. Datorama is bringing 4 major features to the marketing teams. From data integration from multiple marketing sources, usually these different data models that you can have in Google Analytics, in Salesforce CRM, in Google AdWords data, whatever is the source of data that you are getting, usually is different. And one of the main benefits for Datorama is that it's creating a common data model for all this marketing data. Of course, the data cooking using this common data model for multiple marketing data, and of course, data visualization and this dashboarding. Finally, the data intelligence and activation is so important for journeys that is one of the key parts, as you will see later in the example. So in summary, the customer experience analytics is a new challenge in pharma. Now that the journeys are becoming more complex and involving multiple channels. Sorry, I didn't pass my slide. And a platform like Datorama that we use in this project is one of the main marketing analytics marketing intelligence platforms that is used because the easy of integration for many diverse marketing data. Okay, so then I pass to my colleague Carlota Zurita for the presentation of her part. Please, Carlota, and you can continue.
Okay, so thank you, Joaquin. Well, so good morning and good afternoon to everyone. It's a pleasure to share with you a business case about Pierre Fabre campus that we've developed here locally in Spain. For us, it's a website that is fully dedicated for training purposes to HCPs with a variety of content from courses with credits, webinars, masterclasses, patient tips, so a wide range of content for HCPs. It's true that for us, we just call it that it's our hub for excellence to really orchestrate this omnichannel approach. And it's true that for us, it's our key channel to interact with the healthcare professionals. It's true that it's a website that we started working some years ago, but we really believe that we had to make a shift during last year, and we relaunched our website in 2021. We wanted to move from not only uploading content to our website, but also really offering a unique customer experience personalized by each of the target that we approach in our website. This is the first key step, but obviously there's other steps that we need to pursue. The second one will be to offer a personalized content by each HCP that we have on our website, taking into account obviously the preferences and needs that they see in our website. So in order to move to this next level, there were some key challenges that we obviously had to pursue. The first one is that we wanted to receive feedback from our HCPs. So that means at the end, gather all the insights from our website and to create a comprehensive multi-channel view in order in the future to activate the customer journeys that we wanted to create with our HCPs. before all this movement to Datorama that I'm going to talk about, we used to work with very manual reporting information that it was very tough to analyze, and the most important, very tough to take future decisions. And we wanted to go further, and this is the place where we thought that it would be nice to have an automated tool. In this project, and the project to come through, is where we started collaborating with ShowerThinking, and they really analyzed our case, and they proposed us that Datorama could be a nice solution to have all of our connectors, all of our data coming from Campus Pierre Fabre in a single place, which is a dashboard coming from Datorama. A place that all the information will be automized with daily data, and the process will not be done as a manual reporting. But in order to do so, while there's a lot of follow-up that should be done, there is the campaign data model that should be taken into account, and that there are different marketing platforms and different connectors that are between or are around our website. So that's why I would like to share with you the data sources that we identified in order to develop this dashboard with ShowerThinking. The most important part was to create a user ID, so to create an authentication web code that could really help us to match information from our CRM to our Campus Pierre Fabre, and then the information could be analyzed in a single way. So this was the first part. When this step was done, different connectors were analyzed also with our agency, our website agency. For example, Google Tag Manager, all the tags for Google Analytics, Google Analytics itself. Active Campaign is also a key connector for us for like marketing campaigns and all the emails. And for sure, in the future, will be a nice channel to activate like inbound campaigns. WordPress, where our website is hosted, and obviously Webinar Jam, where all the webinars are recorded. So this is the first part, but ShowerThinking helped us to put everything in a nice way and to create our HCP journey from the beginning, activating different touch points. For example, like obviously log into the web, visit the content, open an email, watch a webinar, and at the end could be an example like receive a sales call. So they help us to link our connectors with our touch points in a one single HCP journey. So this is the part of the data sources, but the project, here you can see the implementation phases of the project. It lasted like around 8 weeks. And this is the proposal from ShowerThinking. The first part where we invested more time was the part of discovering the platform and to know exactly what our needs were. The most important is that our needs is not only like marketing link, but also we took into consideration all the sales team needs in order to make this dashboard a unique view for the different users. When this was very well achieved, we moved to the second part about integration and validation, all the data sources, to go to the KPIs and to identify all the content that should be programmed before, and to put it in a nice way and in a visualized dashboard. The most important is that thanks to the expertise of ShowerThinking, they really help us to put all the dashboard with the right KPIs and the right visualization of all the process. And the final step, obviously, was the release of all this content on Datorama. So, well, here we could see as an example, well, like a fake example of the result of our dashboard. The most important for me of our dashboard and how we work with ShowerThinking is that we not only take into consideration the macro level of our Campus Pierre Fabre. So what I mean is like users, new users, what is the hot topics on our Campus Pierre Fabre, from where do you enter to our website. So this is the common KPIs that we could analyze, but also go from macro to micro level to understand more each of our specialties, each of HCPs, in order to make very good and precise HCP journeys at the end of this project. So we could say that this is just the first keystone of the project, just working and just connecting very well Campus Pierre Fabre with Datorama. We had a lot of different connectors, and as Joaquin said, that Datorama gave us the chance to connect well. But it's true that this is the first step, and the second part will be to be capable to include all the data sources that we have in one single place, which is Datorama. What I mean about all different data sources, the first and the most important is CRM. We just know that there are different channels like CLM to identify well the educational messages, also like remote calls, approved emails, open rate, click-through rate. So it would be nice to have a one single view to analyze all this data independently on the role of the person who is analyzing and viewing the information. So this will be a next key step for us. The second one will be to analyze and to align well all the processes about naming and universal keys, and also identify well all the tags that we put on the website and in other connectors. Another key step, it's true that it's a project that it was developed locally here in Spain, but for sure our idea was not that this project could cover our need as a business unit in pharmacare, but also that it could cover other needs on other business units. And that's why we share this dashboard with other business units locally, and also at corporate level, because who knows, maybe there's other countries that could take advantage also of this dashboard, or at least a part of it. So like final conclusion about like final key step that we want to pursue is that we want to have a complete multi-channel view of HCP interactions. So at the end, we want to have this 360 degrees view of our HCP at the end of this journey. So, well, this is my presentation. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you so much, Carlota and Joaquin. This was very exciting, actually, very interesting. It's always great to see how things come together and get implemented on that. So just for our audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to post the questions, and then we'll just go through them. I already see a few questions coming in. You'll find on your webinar platform tab that there's a place for posting the questions. So we're opening right now for Q&A sessions, and we have a few minutes to answer that. So we'll try to cover everything as much as possible. If there are any questions that will follow offline with our panelists, will follow offline with you on that. So let me kick that off with these questions. I think the first question to Carlota and you, Joaquin, on this is now you brought up the topic of business analytics and the marketing analytics. Business analytics being a more single source and marketing analytics being a multi-source. Are you suggesting that these two will be at some point combined together, or it is better that these two to remain separate? That's maybe Joaquin, I'll kick it off to you.
Well,
you might be on mute. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, in big pharma, well, my view, on this point, and probably too, Carlota can give also your view. I see that in many big pharma companies, getting all this new information, like Carlota explained very clearly in his presentation, like many different sources, is a nightmare. And it's a nightmare because the way the business analytics units they work is very precise, and they work using different project model. And for this very flexible marketing source, where you in this moment are using this webinar platform, probably in 3 months later you are using a different platform. Now you need to use an email platform, later business analytics, or Google Analytics, or even Google Ad Data. It's very difficult that a global company has this level of flexibility for introducing all these different marketing data in a single source, and provide and create in an appropriate timing and insights and dashboard. So I see that, at least from my view, is usually this is a platform like Datorama that is focusing on marketing departments and is solving a gap existing where a customer experience or a customer's journey, in other cases, very difficult to follow. I don't know which is your view from Pierre Fabre, Carlota.
Yes, well, I mean, I completely agree. It's true that, as you said, like it's a nightmare where you have a lot of different information coming from reports that are not easy to analyze, especially from marketing perspective, because we have CRM reports, we have reports coming from other platforms, and at the end, it's almost like impossible to make future decisions and to know exactly from where I should go. So I really believe that going from a single source view, which is not easy, you know, to put all, is a key challenge to put all the sources in one place. But for sure, it's the future. If we are not capable to move on that place, we will not be able to have a nice and a complete overview of the customer.
Very good. Thank you. So actually, this was a very good segue to the second question here, actually. So the question is this: congratulations on the nice implementation on Pierre Fabre to both. How can you comment about this? That how were you? Datorama has been bringing all the connectors and sources together, according to your example. How were these used before using Datorama? You clearly had all these sources. I think perhaps it's a question for Carlota. So you had these sources, as you indicated, you had these sources available. Now you're using Datorama to bring all these kind of together. How were they used beforehand? Like, was it a manual process? Were they ignored? What was your take on?
Yes, well, it's true that all the connectors were well identified, but they were not activated. Everything was activated during this year when we did, when we make this shift. And before we only were working with Google Analytics, but as I'm saying, just like a partial view of what's going on your website. And we just requested some manual reportings, like one-shot reporting, which really help us only to have like a screenshot of our website, but not like a in live report. So we really moved from just almost like from scratch to really have everything connected and activated in this whole place.
Okay, very good. Actually, there's another question. Actually, perhaps this is also for Carlota. You showed the nice dashboard that at the end shows all the input. Actually, maybe for both, which functions or which groups in your business unit you recommend to be the people who look at that dashboard?
Yes, well, for us, the main user will be like marketing, or the ones that we also work more like on the digital part is the most important. I mean, to decide well what to do next. But it's true that we also took part in this project like sales team, so like sales manager or other people, because it's nice that they understand and that they see the preferences and the needs of their HCPs. Because if not, in my case, I only see like micro level. I don't go from each HCP by HCP. So for them, it's very interesting to know exactly what my HCPs are interested in. And they could have this view with the dashboard, because we have two different perspectives. We have marketing view, and we also have like sales team view, which is nice because we can work like separately, but all of us, we share the same information, which is like HCP is in the center of the strategy. And I just work with like macro to know which are the courses that works better. Let's see if who repeats more on the webinars, if this solution works well or not. And sales team is more like, let's see what is the interest of this HCP A, HCP B, etc. So there are different point of view, but we share the same at the end, the same dashboard with two parallel perspectives.
Very good. Thank you. Actually, there's another question here that perhaps maybe start you with Joaquin with this one. As you know, a lot of companies are in the process of expanding their their cloud-based marketing activities and digitalization. You had shown that implementation lasts about 8 weeks. Would you say this is a ground zero implementation from ground zero, or there's some preliminary structure already in place on this?
Obviously, depending on the reach of the projects. In this case, as Carlota commented, we work with a very flexible and very focused team in Spain, sometimes working at the global level or with many countries involved. It's taking more time, to get which are the requests and implement the different features. The 8 weeks, this is something that is even suggested by Salesforce itself, themselves, to cover this process in 8 weeks. We usually like to make like mini projects and have something available in a short period of time. In the case of this, it could be even shorter, but as Carlota commented, in this project, there were many different sources involved, even third parties involved, local agencies and so on. So it's usually adding more complexity to the project. But I would say that the implementation from 4 weeks to 8 weeks, usually in multi-channel projects, is a good starting point.
That's very good. Kind of another question here, perhaps to some degree related from one of our audiences. At a high level, they like to understand the differences between Datorama platform and other platforms like Microsoft Power BI.
Well, I think that this one is for me.
Sure.
Power BI is a general purpose analytics platform. It's a great platform. I like it very much. I also use it in some scenarios. Where platforms like Datorama really shines is where you need to have you need to integrate very different a lot of different marketing sources. So it's very difficult to make it in you can make it in other platforms, but it's very difficult, or is it going to take time, or is you will need resources in terms of development or an external company integrating this data. And also Datorama, I would say that is very focused on marketing requests and this customer experience. This is where this platform is really great. But the general, I would say or put it in this way, there are many great general purpose analytics platforms like Microsoft or Tableau or many others. And this is like a niche platform focusing more on the marketing needs.
Oh, thank you so much. There's another question perhaps for, this is, I guess, related to Pierre Fabre implementation for Carlota. There was a note that the data was automated to be uploaded on a daily basis. Is data also reacted to on a daily basis, or automatically, or a different interval, or the system automatically reacted to that data that was collected?
Well, I mean, it's automated data because, I mean, there are some APIs that they just share and connect all the information to Datorama. So everything is like daily, and I mean, it's like automated, and it flies through APIs. So, I mean, everything is programmed, and yes, so we don't have to do anything in this part.
Okay, very good. No, I think that makes sense, because everything, the whole purpose is, just to interject my comment, the whole purpose is that the automation and this process. Another question is for Carlota, I believe. In the implementation phase, and where you have the KPI implementation, are the KPIs were the KPIs different after the discovery, or the KPIs were set before implementation of the Datorama?
Where in general, there were some KPIs that were set before Datorama, because we also had an internal exercise to analyze well how we want to have our website in the future. So all the KPIs will very well identified. That's true. But on the other hand, while the Datorama was built and identified with ShowerThinking, there were other KPIs that were integrated because, for example, as I'm saying, I mean, we didn't know how the website, our new website will work, so we will not know the like peak users, or we didn't know how many of them could repeat, how many of them. So right now we could have a global, more like a global view of our website. So we integrate different KPIs. So it's true that the project at the beginning lasted like 8 weeks, but it's true that we are continuing enriching our Datorama, integrating new data and integrating not new connectors but new information, because thanks to the information that Datorama provides us, we just see that there are maybe some gaps that we want to cover in the future.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. And again, that's always the case when we have real life examples of the industry implementation. There are a ton of questions actually about these. So there's another one that's here is in terms of your web portal for the training of the HCPs. Is it something that is real time also used by reps when they're visiting the HCPs, or this is totally for offline use of the HCPs?
Yeah, it's true that we also move from being like a channel that we had there. But right now, to be honest, for them is, as I said, like a key channel to really interact with the healthcare professional. Because before we had different silos of information. This is in Campus Pierre Fabre, this is on an Outlook email, this is on field email, and so on. It was very complicated at the end for the HCP to know where the information is. So right now, and I think that all our sales reps are very aware of this situation, and they try to make things easy for the HCPs. So they use this tool on a daily basis on the visits when they can. Obviously, not easy to interact with healthcare professionals as it is here in Spain, but it's true that it's a very nice tool to interact and to offer all the content that we have in one single place. So it's the same that we would do with dashboard. We try to convey the same message to the sales reps. You have everything in one single place. So just click it and go to this universe of this training platform.
Very good. Thank you so much. That's very exciting and interesting. Well, we are getting to the 40-minute mark. I really want to thank our audience and also our speakers, Carlota and Joaquin, on that. It was a great presentation. We'll obviously forward the material to our audience, and also we'll post them as always on the Next Pharma channels as well. Again, thanks again for everyone attending this, and we can adjourn. There are a few other questions as well that are a little bit more technical on this that we'll have them answered offline by our panelists on this. All right, Joaquin, Carlota, thanks again, and we'll see you in another webinar.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.